is coverage you can count on. WGAL News 8 at noon starts now.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Roach. We're going to start with the weather this midday Tuesday. Looking great out there right now, but that could change later today, which is why the News 8 Storm Team has made tonight an impact night. Here's meteorologist Ethan Houston.
Yeah, Brian, what we're going to watch out for is a broken line of showers and thunderstorms that will weaken as it moves in the valley, but as it arrives, it could pack a punch. This broken line of storms is expected to arrive between 9 o'clock and then push across the valley and exit the region by 2 a.m. Storms will weaken as they move southeast, and some areas may be dry, but it's areas northwest of Harrisburg where we could see some damaging wind gusts and potentially some small hail. Outside right now, it is gorgeous. It is warm. We're at 74 degrees, but you can see the signs of change. Some moisture arriving in some of the thin veil of the high-level clouds that are starting to arrive across much of the region. 75 right now in Carlisle, the same in Chambersburg. All is quiet right now on Live Local 8, but this is what we're watching. You can see that line of showers and thunderstorms right now really packing a punch out towards Indianapolis and over southern Indiana and into northwestern Ohio. Few isolated thunderstorms are bubbling up right now over the ridgetops of the mountains of West Virginia. So scattered showers and thunderstorms, but not until later. Most likely start to move on in after 9 o'clock. Best chance will be around 11 to 1 a.m. Again, some areas will stay dry. Some areas could see some gusty thunderstorms. We'll talk about this more and what you can expect for the rest of the week ahead coming up in the Impact Day 10-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Ethan. For the first time since the fires began in the Michaud State Forest in Cumberland County, there were no overnight operations as firefighters make progress battling the flames there. The larger Thompson Hollow fire remains 42% contained, while the smaller Hammond's Rock fire is 92% contained. The perimeter is being monitored by 108 firefighters, down from 175 on Sunday. Happening now, WellSpan Health is having hands-on learning experiences for high school students in York. This comes as WellSpan canceled one of their youth DEI programs this year. News 8's Jake Reyes has more for us.
80 students across York County high schools, including William Penn High School and Central York High School, are participating in hands-on learning activities. But this comes after WellSpan scrapped another youth event focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Training and Education for Aspiring Careers in Healthcare event, or TEACH, has students learning how to do things like CPR and operate ultrasound technology. This comes after a year of WellSpan volunteers visiting students at their classrooms to discuss the health industry. The TEACH event is happening as WellSpan cancels a program designed for Black youth. Black Men in White Coats was a free yearly event that provided mentorship and networking to those who are interested in a career in the medical field. It was originally scheduled for May 31st at York College, but WellSpan says they canceled it this year out of fear of federal funding cuts as the Trump administration looks to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Doctors, though, say having youth programs in general are important.
Declaring a profession is happening earlier and earlier in people's lives. And so getting an exposure to what might be out there, things that you might connect with, things that you might enjoy, I think is extremely important because it might define someone's entire future.
WellSpan did say, though, that they are reimagining a future event focused on students who are interested in a career in the medical field. Now, the TEACH event today just started a few moments ago and will continue through 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Reporting in York, Jake Reyes, WGAL News 8.
The Trump administration says the University of Pennsylvania violated laws guaranteeing women equal opportunities in athletics by allowing a transgender swimmer to compete on the school's women's team and getting into team facilities. The administration's statement does not name the swimmer, though. Last year, Leah Thomas competed for the Ivy League school in Philadelphia in 2022 and was the first openly transgender athlete to win a Division I title that year. Fire damaged a barn in York County, and here's what that fire looked like last night. Dispatchers say it started just before 9 on Vieiro Road in York Township. A neighbor told a News 8 crew that went to the scene that they had heard explosions when this fire started. It's unclear if anyone was hurt. An autopsy will be done today on the man shot and killed over the weekend in Harrisburg. 19-year-old Zaire Warren of Harrisburg was shot around 6 o'clock Saturday night in the area of Logan and McClay Streets. Police say the man was shot in his side and later died at the hospital. There is no word yet on a suspect or a motive. In Cumberland County, East Pennsboro Township Police report an arrest in connection with a fatal drug overdose. On May the 2nd, police responded to the 100 block of Country Club Place West in Camp Hill for a possible death. The Cumberland County Coroner's Office and detectives determined the victim died from a drug overdose. After an investigation, Cheyenne Rodriguez of Steelton was named a suspect. Rodriguez was arrested, and a preliminary hearing has been scheduled for a later date. Middlesex Township Police in Cumberland County say a woman is in custody facing strangulation and assault charges. Police say 33-year-old Chanel Farner was arrested yesterday after officers were called to a hotel on Harrisburg Pike. According to investigators, Farner is also facing charges of harassment and terroristic threats. Police did not give details about what happened yesterday or reveal if anyone was hurt. Investigators in Illinois believe a crash through an after-school building that killed 3 children and 1 teenager was not targeted. Police say a car traveled through a field, then smashed through a small building in a small city outside of Chatham, outside of Springfield, Monday afternoon. 2 7-year-olds and an 8-year-old and an 18-year-old were killed. 6 more children were taken to the hospitals, and 1 remains in critical condition. The driver, who was not injured, was taken to a hospital for evaluation, and police say toxicology reports are pending in this case. 22 people have been killed, 3 injured in a fire at a restaurant in northern China. Flames quickly engulfed the 3-story building. There's no word on what started the fire, but the restaurant's manager has been placed in policy custody. I would guess that would be police custody as part of the investigation. Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal Party has won Canada's federal election. The race caps a turnaround for Canada's Liberal Party that gained steam after President Trump's tariff on the U.S.'s northern neighbor. Carney issued a warning to Canadians about the president's actions during his victory speech last night.
President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never ever happen.
The Liberals are projected to win more of Parliament's 343 seats than the Conservatives. Today marks 100 days of Trump's second term. As News 8's Washington Bureau correspondent Amy Liu tells us, he's marking the occasion with one of his signature events.
President Trump will mark the 100th day of his second term with a rally in Michigan. The choice of location, suburban Detroit, is no surprise. It's communities of swing voters like this that swung in the president's favor, leading to a sweep of all battleground states and clinching him the presidency. In announcing the rally, the White House highlighted achievements of the first 100 days of his second term, including an immigration crackdown, tariffs and trade negotiations, new investments by foreign countries, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency slashing federal programs, and ending diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. But new polling found falling popularity for the president on issues where he's traditionally been pretty popular, like the economy and immigration, for example. The latest numbers from the Associated Press showing less than half of adults overall approve of the job he's done on a variety of topics. An average of these surveys suggests that the president's net approval rating has gone down about 20 points ever since taking office. At the White House, I'm Amy Liu.
NBC News has learned that the administration will ease some tariffs for U.S. automakers. The White House official confirms tariffs on imported vehicles and auto parts will remain in place, though. However, those tariffs will not be stacked on top of additional tariffs on the metals, such as aluminum and steel, that are used to make the vehicles. Additionally, automakers will be reimbursed for the cost of some of the tariffs on imported parts, up to 3.75% of the value of a new car in its first year. It's unclear how car companies will be reimbursed, though. The White House says this decision is a reflection of cooperation between the administration and the auto industry.